Welcome back, everybody, to the NCAA Next Up Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14 as we watch the stars of tomorrow competing in the 2022 college football season. And today, a national champion will be crowned. We've gone through the regular season, the conference championships, and all of the bowl games other than the college football playoff. We have 4 teams left who are going to be battling it out to determine a national champion. Today we're going to go over the 2 semifinal games as well as the college football national championship. As we look at the 4 teams, we start at the top with number 1 seed South Alabama. The Jaguars went a perfect 12-0 this season, led by senior quarterback Kendrick Brown, who threw for 39 touchdowns. On the ground, their star running back, Keon Monroe, is healthy for the first time since week 4. They also have Trey Williams, the Fred Biletnikoff Award winner, who scored more scrimmage touchdowns than anybody in the country, and they've got the best defense in college football, led by senior corner Cardell Simpson. South Alabama had an easy schedule. They played in the Sun Belt. They only had one Power 5 opponent, that being Houston, who they beat by 30. But they've pretty much clobbered everybody who they've beaten on their schedule, so you can't really take that away from them. South Alabama has the best point differential in college football and has earned this number 1 seed. The number 2 seed is also a Group 5 school, the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders, who have overcome big injuries to their 2 most important players throughout the season and have still been able to get to the college football playoff. Mark Archie, a transfer from the University of Florida, won the QB battle over Cedric Woods, but with Archie's injury, Woods has come in and stepped up big time. Nehemiah Dalton Jr. is an exquisitely good playmaker, but his injury has forced other guys on the offense to step up, and that they have. Along with Cedric Woods, you've got guys like Barrington Britt, Matt Burnett, and Jason Johnson, who have really taken big leaps this season for the Blue Raiders. They have some more impressive wins than South Alabama, in my opinion, including clobbering North Carolina. That's when the Tar Heels were actually healthy and ranked inside the top 10. So I think that's a better win than their 7-5 record suggests. But again, they did not play in a great conference, being the Conference USA, but they've beaten everybody who's on their schedule, and they've beaten them pretty badly. I think they've earned the number 2 seed. Our 3rd seed, in my opinion, is the favorite for the college football playoff, the Georgia Bulldogs, led by senior quarterback Clyde Williamson, who is projected to be the number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft after an unbelievably good senior season. They've got weapons on the offense with Patalomayo Malalu and Quentin Spencer. They've got a young but fun and hungry defense. Georgia did lose 2 games this season in Week 3 to South Carolina and Week 6 to Tennessee. Since then, they've had no margin for error, and they have won out, including big wins against Auburn, Kentucky, Georgia Tech, and then Oklahoma in the SEC Championship. That's 4 consecutive top 16 opponents who they have beaten, and you got to give them a lot of credit for winning the best conference in college football, being the SEC. For most college football playoff voters, the top 3 teams were pretty easy. It was a very tough decision for the 4 seed between Michigan and West Virginia, but ultimately it went to the Wolverines, led by the explosive quarterback Bartholomew Blunt, who has not had a perfect season throwing the football, but you look at a guy who is a playmaker at the QB position. A lot of talent on both sides of the ball for this Michigan team. Now, of course, they lost to West Virginia back in Week 2. Michigan and West Virginia have pretty similar resumes. They both went 11-2. They both went 10-0 in conference. However, the College Football Playoff Committee valued the strength of schedule and the overall talent level that Michigan has compared to West Virginia over that head-to-head matchup back in Episode 2 of the series. West Virginia lost in the Fiesta Bowl to Memphis, so maybe the College Football Playoff Committee was right. Michigan had a great season in conference with no margin for error after losing their 2nd game in Week 4 as they prepared themselves to face off against the number 1 seed in South Alabama from a first college football playoff semifinal game. So Michigan, being the number 4 seed, plays against number 1 seed South Alabama. Then after this, the 2-seeded Middle Tennessee State will face off against 3-seeded Georgia, and the winners of the 2 games will compete in the national championship. Later in today's episode, we're going through all 3 college football playoff games, and a national champion will be crowned by the end of this episode. As we look at these 2 teams, I'm really curious to see how South Alabama and then Middle Tennessee State are going to hold up. The performances of these two Group 5 teams today will really determine how much respect Group 5 teams get in the future in being voted for the college football playoff. So all these small programs around the country are counting on South Alabama and Middle Tennessee State to perform at a high level today. Despite having 2 losses and being the lower seed, I think Michigan is the slight favorite in this football game, but I could very well see it going to South Alabama if all goes well. As we look at how these two teams match up against each other, I'm very excited to see how Bartholomew Blount, the Michigan quarterback, is going to handle himself against South Alabama's defense. South Alabama has not faced off against anybody of the talent level of Bartholomew Blount, but this Jaguar defense has been the best in college football with future first-round picks such as cornerback Cardell Simpson and sophomore defensive lineman Tyreek Callahan. It should be a fun one. Welcome to the first semifinal game of the 2022 college football playoff as the number 4 seeded, I know they're ranked second in the game, the number 4 seeded Michigan taking on number 1 seeded South Alabama. Since there's no college football playoff in NCAA 14, I had to be creative with setting stuff up in different save files, so that's why Michigan is number 2 here. You may notice the scores on the bottom are not correct. Just go with it. This is the best I could do. South Alabama opens up with the football as Kedrick Brown is smothered to the ground on 2nd and 10 for a sack. Travis Christian is in the backfield for the Michigan defense to make the play. Michigan's defense has been vulnerable throughout the season. They haven't been the most consistent, but they look pretty good on this drive as that one was in and out of the hands of Kaishawn Lathias. He had a pick 6 in the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin. Here's the opening drive for Michigan. 2nd and 4. Bartholomew Blount looking to run with it, and he's going to break tackles for a nice gain of 16. Blount is such a physical and tough runner. I'm really excited to see how he can do as not just a passer, but also a runner today. After a good run at 2nd and 5, Blount now looking to throw it, and his pass is picked off! Intercepted by the South Alabama defense. It's Cardell Simpson who picks it off. His 7th interception of the season, his 20th in his career. You talk about production, you talk about ball skills, you talk about everything with Cardell Simpson. He's been one of the best corners in college football the last 2 seasons. He's the leader and the heartbeat of this South Alabama football team. So Simpson forces the turnover, and the Jaguars have a real opportunity to get some momentum as Brown stiff arms the defender. What a run for Kedrick Brown, who isn't necessarily the most explosive, but he is also a tough physical runner who can fight for yards, just like he did on that play. First down, Brown looks to throw it. He will connect with Chad Andrews, the redshirt freshman wideout, who gains 13 yards. Andrews has been very reliable in the slot this season for South Alabama. Obviously, Trey Williams has taken a lot of the headlines at wide receiver, but they've got plenty of other playmakers. 3rd and 1, Brown keeps it himself for a touchdown, and South Alabama scores the first touchdown of this year's college football playoff. Off the interception by Cardell Simpson, South Alabama drives all the way down the field and takes the lead. Michigan has it back, 2nd and 9, Blount under pressure, and he is sacked for a loss of about 10. Tyreek Callahan, the sophomore, brings him down. Callahan leads the team in sacks and looks like a legitimate NFL draft prospect when he eventually enters the pros. 3rd and 19, it's a screen for the senior running back Charles Wiggins. He gets about 12, but is quickly wrapped up by the South Alabama defense. So far, the Jaguars are passing the eye test with flying colors. I know it's early, but they look like the real deal right now. 3rd and inches, Brown keeps it on the read option, has a 1st and more. Kedrick Brown down the field, he's wrapped up past the 30. A gain of 28 yards for Kedrick Brown, and now South Alabama has it at the 28-yard line. The Jaguars' offense is moving in a no-huddle, very fast pace, and Michigan's defense, quite frankly, has not been able to keep up. Brown on 1st down, he is picked off, and all of South Alabama's momentum might have just gone away. Thomas Kelly picks it off for Michigan, and both quarterbacks have now thrown interceptions here in the first quarter. A big turnover for Michigan. They needed something to go their way, and they finally get it. 3rd and 10 off the turnover. Another screen for Charles Wiggins. Michigan has got to open up the playbook throwing the football. Bartholomew Blunt has a great arm. They have a lot of great receivers, but they've been very conservative in terms of their offensive play calling. So they would have to punt. South Alabama gets it back as on third down. Brown with a strike called in by Michael Evans, and that'll go for a gain of nearly 40. Great play after the catch there by Evans, who's expected to take over probably as the number one receiver next year with Trey Williams being a senior. Good run there by Keon Monroe. Great for South Alabama to have him back. He has certainly been sorely missed for this offense, getting injured again in the team's third game of the season. Following play, another short throw caught by Monroe, trucks the defender, and South Alabama's offense is really starting to find a groove. Again, it's early, but South Alabama looks like the real deal. With only one Power 5 win going into this game, they had to prove something, and they're proving themselves to look good. It's Kendrick Brown with a 14-yard rushing touchdown. So Brown is the first two scores of the day, both of which are on the ground. And South Alabama takes a 14-0 lead. Quite the start for the Jags. And Michigan's really got to respond on this possession. Their offense has done nothing today. Third down, Blunt with a strike from the sidelines. It's hauled in by the true freshman tight end, Isaiah McGowan, who gets the first down. Good throw there by Blunt. We'll see if that can be a sign of things to come here for the Wolverine offense. 3rd and 10. Blunt drops back in the pocket, looks for the other sideline for a wide open man. This time it's Thomas Scott who gets 14 yards. If Blunt can continue to be accurate and look confident in the pocket, there's no reason to think Michigan can't get back in the game. Nice run up the middle by Charles Wiggins. That'll go for a first down. And the Wolverines are doing something on this drive. They've gotten a number of first down plays now in the red zone, looking to score before the end of the quarter as Blunt tosses it from the freshman running back, Casey Aceron, who breaks a tackle, breaks another, and he is in for a 12-yard score. So Michigan adds a touchdown at the end of the first quarter off of a nice run there by Casey Aceron. 14-7, your score through one. South Alabama looks legit. We'll see if they can keep it going in the second quarter as they start with football. First play from scrimmage, handoff up the middle. It's Monroe who's down, but he's not down. Keon Monroe breaks a tackle, and he is loose. What a run by Keon Monroe, who gets 23 yards. He does not look like he has missed a beat for South Alabama, and this offense is somehow even better than they've been all year. Nice throw up the middle on 3rd and 12, caught by Evans. But he's only going to get 9, wrapped up by the senior corner, Ethan Pepperoni, along with Kaishawn Lathias. That'll force a punt, and good stop by the Michigan defense, and they can tie it on this possession. Past the 50-yard line, Blunt on the play-action fake, floats it up, and it's caught by Scott. Thomas Scott has been the go-to guy in the passing game today over their top two receivers, Hollis Francois and T.K. Thomas, both of whom are going to be high NFL draft picks. 2nd and 2. Blunt goes short. It's caught for a touchdown by one of the other depth receivers, Evan Baker. So Michigan really struggled the first 6-7 minutes of the game, but they're right back in it, tying it at 14. Now it's up for South Alabama to respond. We'll see if it's just a fluke start or if they really are legit. Nice run by Kendrick Brown, who continues to be a weapon with his legs. I thought the quarterback who'd be running wild today would be Blunt, but it's actually been Kendrick Brown, who looks really good as a runner. Brown up the middle of a nice throw for the slot receiver, Chad Andrews. He gets 15 yards. It feels like he's really been spreading the love, throwing the football to everybody except for the Biletnikoff winner, Trey Williams, who's been really quiet today. Wide open downfield, it's Michael Evans with the touchdown. He was left uncovered. The Wolverines did not have a safety back to stop him, and South Alabama will regain the lead. It's 21-14. Michigan has it back. Not a lot of time left in the first half. 3rd and 4, what a throw! Bartholomew Blunt gets it into the hands of guess who? Thomas Scott, who brings it to the 1. Nice catch there by Scott. Michigan looking to punch it in and tie the game up. 2nd and goal here for the Wolverines. Clock continuing to run, under 2 to go as Blunt breaks a tackle, and he is in. Blunt forced trauma. Touchdown, Bartholomew Blunt, and what started as a defensive battle is now turning into a high-scoring affair. 21-21. South Alabama's going to get it back late here in the first half. On first down, Brown's going to go short. It's caught by Chad Andrews, who continues to make a huge impact on this game as the redshirt freshman is able to get around 20. Good play for Andrews. South Alabama back in the red zone, looking to regain this lead. From around the 12-yard line, it's a handoff for Keon Monroe with some blocks. Cuts to the right side, and he is in for a touchdown. Keon Monroe continues to dominate in this ball game, and that carry will give him the most rushing touchdowns in the history of the South Alabama program. Got to keep a couple things in mind. One, he missed 9 games this year. And then 2, he's only a junior. He's going to be back next year. So Michigan has it back, down by 7. Here's a nice run by Blunt. Down the field, 30, 25, 21 man to beat. And he is wrapped up inside the 10. A gain of 55 on the ground by Bartholomew Blunt, showing off his explosiveness. And now Michigan has it on the goal line as Casey Aceron scores his second touchdown of the game. And the points are going to keep on coming. It's now 28-28 late here in the first half. South Alabama's probably going to have one more opportunity to score before halftime with about 45 seconds to go. Brown on first down is picked off. Ethan Pepperoni, the senior corner, with the interception. What do you want on your pizza, Mr. Brown? I don't think he wants pepperoni after that play. And Michigan now has a chance to take their first lead of the game before halftime. I know the Wolverines really started off slow, but they were playing a whole lot better in this second quarter. 1st and 10. Blunt looks to throw it, and he connects with Hollis Francois, who finally gets a catch. He has been shut down by Cardell Simpson today, and Francois brings it to the 1. 1st and goal. Blunt going to keep it himself, and he will run for a touchdown. Both quarterbacks have 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half, and for the first time today, Michigan has the lead, 35-28 going into halftime. The Wolverines are currently on a 35-14 run. We'll see if they can keep it going in the second half and punch their ticket to the national championship game against either Georgia or Middle Tennessee. And keep in mind, of course, that game will be right after this one. Michigan starts with the ball here in the 3rd. Good run by Charles Wiggins. I know Casey Aceron has kind of taken the headlines on the ground with 2 touchdowns today, but Charles Wiggins is still this team's lead back. Wiggins currently a projected 2nd rounder in this year's draft. Blunt on first down, looks to throw it. Now he's going to scramble with it. Blunt breaks a tackle, and he fumbles the football! And it's picked up by South Alabama. Tyreek Callahan recovers it, and it looks like if he can beat out Blunt, he'll take it all the way for a scoop and score. And this game is tied up at 35 apiece. True freshman cornerback Marcus Evans, no relations to Michael Evans, was there with the fumble force, and this game is really turning into a classic. As we're tied up, Michigan gets the ball back, looking to regain the lead. 3rd and 8, Blunt goes short for Casey Aceron, fighting for every yard, but he is just short of the yard to gain. Michigan would surprisingly elect to punt it. Past the 50 on a 4th and inches, they punted in a college football playoff game. Okay. So there's Josh Brooks for a gain of 16. Literally everybody on this South Alabama offense is getting the ball other than Trey Williams. It's so weird. On 3rd and goal, Brown's going to go short for Davison Miller, the tight end, and he is just shy of the end zone. Miller was an All-American going into the season, kind of overshadowed with obviously Trey Williams being the best receiver in college football. So South Alabama is going to kick the field goal on 4th and goal, and it is good. So South Alabama regains the lead 38-35, and I know South Alabama struggled at the end of the first half, but they were playing very well out the gates here in the 3rd quarter. Michigan has it back. Blunt going deep. He's picked off for a 2nd time today. The play was made by the senior corner, Eric Joseph, who picks it off for South Alabama, and both quarterbacks have been intercepted twice today. Both QBs need to do a better job of protecting the football. Blunt also had the fumble, so he has turned it over 3 times in this game, and South Alabama seems to have all the momentum. The Jaguars do nothing on this possession as Brown throws it into the ground. Maxo Bazili, the linebacker, was there with the pressure. South Alabama's going to look to kick another field goal. This one looks like it's from around 53, and it is well short The kick is no good, and it will remain a 3-point game, 38-35. So Michigan's going to get the ball back, and even though they have struggled so far here in the third quarter, particularly on offense with the 2 turnovers, they're only down by 3 points. Handoff for Charles Wiggins. He has room to the left side, breaks a tackle. Wiggins with a big run as he is wrapped up at the 40-yard line. Michigan has to get the ball in the hands of their best playmakers. Wiggins needs more touches. Hollis Francois needs more touches. TK Thomas needs more touches. As on third down, it's a screen for Aceron. Michigan keeps running screens, and they keep not working. South Alabama's defense is too smart to let those plays work. Michigan now going for a field goal from 56, and that one was not even close. It was well short. It was also well wide to the right. I mean, you could have put a blindfold on the kicker, and I don't think it would have looked that much better. So both teams trade off missed field goals. South Alabama's going to get the ball back, still up by 3. 3rd and 1, handoff up the middle. That one's going to go for a 1st and more. Again, it's Keon Monroe who gets 12, and that one will put him over the century mark in yardage. And so we are through 3 quarters. The South Alabama Jaguars on top, 38-35. We've got ourselves a good one going into the 4th quarter. The Jaguars are looking to make it a 2-score game. 2nd and goal. Brown with a strike in the end zone. Michael Evans with his 2nd touchdown reception of the game. And South Alabama has outscored Michigan 17-0 since halftime, and they lead it 45-35. Got to see a sense of urgency from the Wolverines. They're down by 10. They've got to figure some things out. Here's a nice run by Charles Wiggins. He gets around 16, and the Wolverine offense will move the chains. Wiggins averaging 8.7 yards per carry on just 10 carries. Michigan moving the ball down the field slowly but surely, now at the 10-yard line. 2nd and 9, Blunt with a strike, and that one goes for a touchdown. Maurice Jenkins with the score, and Michigan is back in the game. This is only a 1-possession contest, 42-45. If Michigan's defense can get a stop here, they'll put their offense in a position to win the game. 3rd and 9, screen from Brown, caught by Monroe, and he is just short of the 1st down. A huge tackle there by the Michigan defense, and they'll get the football back with an opportunity to take the lead. 42-45 with just under 4 minutes to go as Blunt keeps on the read option, breaks a tackle, and brings it to the 50-yard line. Bartholomew Blunt continuing to run it like a madman. 3rd and 1. Michigan now in the red zone. Another slow but efficient drive down the field as Blunt keeps it on the read option. Breaks 2 more tackles, and he is in for the touchdown. So the Michigan offense does their job. Bartholomew Blunt and friends drive down the field. They score the touchdown, 49-45, and now it's up to South Alabama. They don't have a whole lot of time left on that clock, around a minute and a half. Nice play by Monroe after the catch to gain 15 yards, keeping the chains moving. Now under a minute to go. 3rd down and 2. Maybe the biggest play of the game here for South Alabama. Handoff for Monroe. He is smothered in the backfield by the senior defensive tackle, Matthew Adams. So South Alabama's going to call a timeout. They're putting all the eggs into the basket of this drive. 4th and 3. The game is pretty much on the line for South Alabama. Brown looking to throw it. He goes short to the other running back, Brian Godfrey, and he will get the 1st down, gaining around 6. South Alabama calls timeout number 2, so they are already down to just 1 timeout left in this game. 3rd and 2, under 30 to go. Brown looks for the sidelines. It's caught by Vincent Harrington, who gets 9. South Alabama's getting close to this end zone, and Michigan's not going to have time with the ball, so this possession really determines the game. Up the middle. Caught for a 1st down by Brian Godfrey, and this clock will continue to tick. Under 20 to go. 1st down. Another short throw for the running back. It's Godfrey again. He gets 5. South Alabama should have called a timeout there, but instead they're going to run no huddle and spike the ball. So they're only going to have enough time for 1 more play. They could have called the timeout and taken 2 or 3 shots into the end zone. Instead, they're only going to get 1 shot. So this is it. 3rd and 5, 4 seconds to go. If Michigan gets a stop, they win. If South Alabama scores, they win. Brown looking, goes short for Godfrey, and he is in for a touchdown at the buzzer. And South Alabama shocks the world. The Jaguars are going to the national championship as they defeat Michigan 52-49 on the last play of the game. Brian Godfrey is the hero, and Michigan's season comes to a close. Well, that's one hell of a start to the college football playoff. Holy smokes. South Alabama making the Group 5 teams proud. What a game. So Bartholomew Blunt, he had some good throws, he had some good runs, he also turned the ball over 3 times. So you get the good and the bad, pretty much the normal Bartholomew Blunt experience. 186 rushing yards, though, is damn impressive. They should have gave Charles Wiggins the ball more. He was great when he had the football, but that wasn't consistently. And then as you look at the receivers, T.K. Thomas, 3 catches, 22 yards. Hollis Francois, 1 catch, 17 yards. Cardell Simpson did a great job on the outside, but you got to give credit to their other starting outside corner, Kyle Hutchinson, because he was great as well. However, it was not Michigan's offense who lost them the game. Their defense allowed 52 points, for Christ's sake. Looking at South Alabama, Kedrick Brown did turn it over twice, but he also had 400 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns to go along with 100 rushing yards and 2 scores on the ground. Keon Monroe also of over 100 rushing yards. He was very good in his first game back. Although Brian Godfrey was the hero with the game-winning receiving touchdown. Michael Evans was great. Trey Williams was quiet, though, and even their second-best receiver, Davison Mitchell, was also quiet. Miller and Williams combined for less than 50 yards. As for the defense, Tyreek Callahan and Cardell Simpson, the 2 players we really highlighted going into the game, were both very, very good for the Jaguars. So that'll bring us to the second semifinal game of the day. Number 3, Georgia, taking on number 2, Middle Tennessee State. The winner will face off against South Alabama in the national championship game. As I said, going into the college football playoff, I feel like Georgia is the favorite. I think they're the most complete team in college football. If you look at their resume, they have beaten so many good football teams this year, but I think Middle Tennessee State can handle it. The Blue Raiders have overcome a lot of adversity throughout the season with their starting quarterback and their number 1 offensive playmaker getting injured, and they have been just fine. Middle Tennessee State, certainly an offense-first team, along with Georgia. They have 2 of the 5 highest-scoring offenses in the country. Georgia leads all of college football in yards per game, with Middle Tennessee State also in the top 10. And these 2 offenses have prolific passing units, with Cedric Woods at quarterback for Middle Tennessee State. And of course, the projected number 1 pick, Clyde Williamson, running the show for Georgia. If you thought that first game was all about offense, then wait for this one, because on paper, these are 2 of the best offensive teams in the country, and I think we should expect a lot of points in this matchup between the Bulldogs and the Blue Raiders. We already saw one Group 5 team get a win today. Can we have a full Group 5 national championship game, or will Georgia end Middle Tennessee State's undefeated season and face off against South Alabama in the first ever NCAA Next Up national championship game? So let's get this one started between the Bulldogs and the Blue Raiders for a spot in the national championship. Middle Tennessee State, the champions of the Conference USA, undefeated going into this matchup against the Georgia team who has not lost since week 6 with 4 consecutive wins against ranked opponents. Let's get this show on the road as Middle Tennessee State opens up with the football. 2nd and 5 for the Blue Raiders. Cedric Woods keeps it on the option. Woods breaks the tackles and gets the first down. Cedric Woods is another quarterback who's known more as a passer, but he can make plays scrambling out as well. Short throw there on 2nd down, hauled in by Jarrell Howard for the first down. I'm really curious to see how the Georgia defense plays in like a high-pressure situation, because this is a very young group. A lot of underclassmen starting on defense after Georgia had all those guys drafted into the NFL last year. Cedric Woods has all day to throw it, and he will connect, bringing the Blue Raiders inside the 10 as it's Jacob Pitts who made the play. Pitts was the first guy to really step up after Nehemiah Dalton got injured, but then Matt Burnett, of course, went on that big tear. As Barrington Britt, the running back, scores the first touchdown of the game. Britt, only a sophomore, has the Blue Raiders on the board. So now we get to see Clyde Williamson and the offense. Georgia lost to the national championship last season to Minnesota, so Clyde Williamson and this group feel like they have some unfinished business, and I think Williamson is going to perform very well here in the college football playoff as he goes short, hauled in by Quincy Pearson, the tight end. He'll get the first down. So far, so good for the University of Georgia offense. Clyde Williamson looks efficient. He looks confident as he goes back up the middle for Quincy Pearson, who gets 14 more yards, and the Dogs are in the red zone. 1st and 10. Williamson's going to look on the screen. It's caught by the running back, Patalomayo Malawalu, and he is in for the touchdown. Malawalu scored 16 touchdowns this season, and he adds another one here in the college football playoff off the halfback screen. See, Michigan, this is how you run your screens. So now the game is tied at 7. Here's Cedric Woods fighting for yardage. He will get it to around the 50. They will call it a first down. Woods looking good as a runner today, as that'll wrap up the first quarter. 7-7. Pretty competitive start. Neither team really breaking away so far, as it's been mainly an offensive battle. Into the second quarter, another nice run from Woods, and he is wrapped up inside the red zone by the safety Robert Small. Great play for Woods, who is running loose in this ballgame. Woods keeps it again, but this time he is wrapped up. The senior linebacker, Daniel Truchon, is in to bring him down. Truchon's only 5'11", but he is an absolute playmaker. 3rd and 1, Woods keeps it again, and he is smothered in the backfield by Grant Rambo, the sophomore, making the play. 4th and 5, Middle Tennessee State is going to have to kick the field goal. Kick on its way. It is good. So the Blue Raiders are back on top, 10-7. Georgia's going to get it back here. Their offense off of a really good first drive. Clyde Williamson looks like the man so far as he pitches it to the outside for Malawalu, and he gets the first down. Patalomayo Malawalu hasn't really gotten an opportunity to be a focal point in this offense because obviously it's a pass-first group. They have, in my opinion, the best pure quarterback in the country. But Malawalu is still an absolute playmaker with the football. Look at him go! Past the 30, he is gone! Patalomayo Malawalu is in for the touchdown, and Georgia takes their first lead of the game. You do not want to get in front of this kid trying to tackle you because he's going to make you look foolish. What a run from Malawalu, and it is now 14-10 in favor of the Dogs. So Middle Tennessee State is going to get the ball back, trailing for the first time today. We'll see if their offense can put them back ahead after scoring a field goal on their last drive. 1st and 10 here for the Blue Raiders. Woods looks to throw it. Under pressure, takes his time, and it is intercepted. That's Daniel Truchon making another play, and things are quickly turning in favor of the Georgia defense. Truchon is really improving his draft stock today. He's all over the field making plays. If he keeps this up, he could fill his name into first-round conversation. So Georgia has it back. Handoff for Malawalu with blocks. Another one. A hat trick here in the first half for Patalomayo Malawalu, who has now scored 3 touchdowns in this game. He caught the screen earlier and now has 2 unbelievable runs. Malawalu is on fire right now as Middle Tennessee State has it back down 11. Woods breaks like 3 tackles and somehow gets the first down. What a run by Cedric Woods, fighting for extra yardage, trying to make up for the interception on the last drive. 1st and 10, here's Barrington Britt up the middle. Although Georgia has the momentum, Middle Tennessee State is far from out of this game. They're only down by 11. They're moving the ball down the field. I think the offense has been overall pretty good for the Blue Raiders today, minus the turnover. On 3rd down, Woods under pressure. He goes short for Britt, and he is quickly wrapped up on the play by Cedric Sowell, the senior linebacker. So Middle Tennessee State's going to have to kick the field goal again, hoping to make it an 8-point game. Technically, it is a 1-possession game. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion would tie it up here. So the Bulldogs are going to get it back up 21-13 as Williamson connects on a strike for Jaden Menendez, who gets it to the 20. Menendez is an interesting player because he's about 6'7". He is a huge receiver. He's built like a tight end, but he has the ability of a wide receiver. 2nd and 5, here's Malawalu, breaking tackles, breaks another one. You cannot stop this kid. You can only hope to contain him. Patalomayo Malawalu with 4 touchdowns in the first half, and Georgia leads 28-13. Things aren't looking up for Middle Tennessee State as Woods is sacked by the sophomore Dieter Jacobs, who we saw get 3 sacks in the SEC championship game against Oklahoma, and the Heisman-winning quarterback Masaru Lee. Georgia opens up with the ball here in the 3rd quarter as Williamson is picked off Oh my goodness, what a play by the linebacker, Bolt Bebley. That's just what Middle Tennessee State needs to get back in the game. Just the fourth interception that Clyde Williamson has thrown all season. So Middle Tennessee State gets it back, 3rd and inches. Can this be the drive they get back in the game? Woods throws it away. So what does Middle Tennessee State do here? I feel like you got to go for it here. Maybe you could punt it. How about neither? They're going to kick the field goal. This is a 58-yarder, and it is not even close. Well short. I don't even know if he would have made that kick from 48 or even 38. You have a better chance of punching it up the middle for half a yard than kicking a 58-yard field goal. I don't know what the thought process is there by Middle Tennessee State. A costly blunder that could cost them the game when it's all said and done. Georgia has it back. Another nice throw by Clyde Williamson as he goes back to Jaden Menendez. He's such a mismatch for opposing corners with his height and his athleticism. Not much these corners can do. 2nd and 3, Maluwalu on the carry, breaks another tackle. Oh my goodness, this kid is insane. Patalomayo Maluwalu with his 5th touchdown of the game. Maluwalu is him. Maluwalu gets his 20th rushing touchdown of the season, breaking a school record set all the way back in 1992 by Garrison Hurst. So it is now 35-13. Georgia's really starting to turn this game into a blowout. Middle Tennessee State needs a big play just like that one. What a throw by Cedric Woods going for the touchdown. And Middle Tennessee State is back in the game. Jacob Pitts with the play. A quick one-play drive for Middle Tennessee State. They needed a big offensive play, and although they still have some work to do, they're kind of back in it. Middle Tennessee State is actually going to go for 2 here, looking to make it a 14-point game. I don't really blame them here as Woods scrambles with it. Under pressure off his back foot, connects with Jason Johnson. So kind of like with South Alabama, every Middle Tennessee State receiver is getting involved except for Matt Burnett, their best one. Kind of odd. Georgia has it back. Williamson, what a throw. It's caught by Menendez, who breaks a tackle, and he is tackled inside the 10. Jaden Menendez looks dominant right now in this ball game, really improving his draft stock right now. 1st and goal. Williamson with a screen for guess who? Patalomayo Maluwalu with his 6th touchdown of the day. Maluwalu has 4 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving scores. Yeah, this kid is putting his name on the map. And it's now 42-21. Middle Tennessee State with it late in the 3rd quarter. Woods has to throw it away. Middle Tennessee State would elect to punt it, although they're down by 21. Georgia has it back. 3rd and 5. Williams on the pump fake under pressure. And he's going to be sacked for a loss of 6. Finally, the Middle Tennessee State defense does something. It's Bolt Bebley, the only one of their defensive players who's really shown up today, making the play. The Blue Raiders have it back late in the 3rd. Here's Barrington Britt, breaks the tackle from Trushon, and is wrapped up inside the 25-yard line by the senior safety, Robert Small. The Blue Raiders are getting very close to the end zone, looking to make it a 2-score deficit. As on 1st and goal, it's the fullback, William Lee, who will walk the red carpet into the end zone for a touchdown, and it's now 42-28. Georgia's going to get it back. They still are in the driver's seat, up by 14 points as it's another screen for Patalomayo Maluwalu, trying to break more tackles. He almost got the 1st down. This kid is literally a superhuman. My goodness. So Georgia would punt it, and that'll wrap up the 3rd. 42-28. The Bulldogs are 1 quarter away from advancing to their 2nd straight national championship. But this game's not over. Middle Tennessee State only down by 14 with the ball. Woods backs up in the pocket with a strike into the hands of Jacob Pitts. Pitts has been the best receiver today out of the slot, making play after play after play, particularly here in the 2nd half. 1st and goal, Barrington Britt back in the end zone for a touchdown. And Middle Tennessee State is down by 1 score. This game is not even close to being over. Georgia's got to get on the board here or else Middle Tennessee State really could get some momentum. Nice throw there for Bottrell Hughes, who gets 13 yards. Georgia's number 1 receiver, Quentin Spencer, has been surprisingly quiet. It feels like every team's number 1 receiver here has done nothing in both semifinal games. I don't get it at all. 2nd and 7. Williamson sacked in the pocket for a loss of 8. Spencer Robinson makes the play for the Blue Raiders. 3rd and 15 now for Georgia. Williamson looking to throw it. It's a screen for Patalomayo Maluwalu, who is shoved out of bounds after gaining 3. Good play by the Middle Tennessee State defense, making it a 4th and long. Georgia is in field goal range, and they do have a pretty good kicker. This one from around 40. Kick is up, and it is good. Big field goal for Georgia. They're back up by 2 possessions, 45-35. Middle Tennessee State is going to get the ball back at the 40-yard line as Woods keeps on the read option, gets a block, breaks a tackle, breaks another one, breaks a third. Cedric Woods will not go down. He's eventually wrapped up inside the 20 pretty much. What a goddamn run by Cedric Woods. Good Lord. Middle Tennessee State now on the goal line. It's a 3rd and goal for the Blue Raiders. Woods keeps it on the read option, looking to break tackles, fighting his way for a touchdown. Middle Tennessee State may be down, but they are not going to quit. 45-42. Georgia gets the ball back. Middle Tennessee State did not elect for an onside kick, and that might have been a mistake as Maluwalu gets the first down off the screen. Does Middle Tennessee State really trust their defense to stop Patolomayo Maluwalu? 2nd and 8, back to Maluwalu, and he's going to put the icing on the cake as he gets the first down, and this one looks like it's over. Another 3rd down here. If they get this one, then it's definitely over. We'll see if they can do it. Georgia chewing as much clock as they can. Handoff for big number 44, and he's going to end it. Patolomayo Maluwalu wins it for the Georgia Bulldogs, 45-42. Wow, what a game once again. I feel like it was not as close as the score suggested. I mean, Middle Tennessee State was down by 3 scores late in the 3rd quarter, and then they gave a prominent comeback in the 4th quarter, but they could not stop Patolomayo Maluwalu, who scored 6 times in this game. Clyde Williamson performed well for the Georgia offense. He didn't make mistakes. He made the smart throws. And overall, Williamson continued to prove why he's probably going to be the number 1 pick in this year's draft. But he was not the star of the show. The star for Georgia was obviously junior running back Patolomayo Maluwalu, who was unbelievable. He had an all-time college football playoff performance, 16 carries, 209 friggin' yards, and 4 touchdowns, 107 yards after contact, along with 6 catches for 48 yards, and 2 more receiving touchdowns. I hope you started him on your fantasy teams because my, oh my, was he good. Jaden Menendez, 7 for 148. Quentin Spencer, though, really quiet. 1 catch, just 6 yards. Middle Tennessee State shut him down. They couldn't really shut down anything else, but they could shut him down. Daniel Truchon had a nice day for Georgia, as did Dieter Jacobs. But overall, their defense was not the best. Cedric Woods was a fighter out there, fighting and clawing to make plays. Him and Britt combined for more yards than Maluwalu had, which I find kind of funny. Middle Tennessee State outran Georgia, even though Georgia's running back won them the game. Matt Burnett, 2 catches, 11 yards. He was really quiet in this game. I expected a lot more out of him. So there you go. The stage is set for the national championship game between the 3-seeded Georgia Bulldogs and the number 1-seeded South Alabama Jaguars. I think this is going to be a really fun team. I think these are the 2 schools who deserve to play in this game. May the best team win. Georgia is the slight favorite going into this game, but we saw that South Alabama can hang with the big guns. They beat Michigan, so South Alabama has shown that they can beat anybody in college football. Georgia has probably the best offense in the country. They have the best quarterback in the country with Clyde Williamson. They have one of the best running backs in the country with Patolomayo Maluwalu. And that'll be a fun battle against the best defense in college football in South Alabama. Herbie is rocking with the Bulldogs. If I were to be a betting man, as I said, I think Georgia is the favorite in this game. But seeing what South Alabama was able to do against Michigan, seeing how their offense was able to control that game, I think they can certainly hang with the Georgia Bulldogs. So it should be a fun one here in Phoenix, Arizona, home of the Arizona Cardinals and home of the 2022-2023 College Football Playoff National Championship. Season number 1 of the NCAA Next Up Dynasty all comes down to this. 2 polar opposites, a powerhouse and the SEC who made the national championship last year, and a Group 5 school from the Sun Belt who nobody expected to be here at the start of the season. It's fitting that 2 different teams, 2 totally different stories meet up in the biggest game of the season, so we'll be able to crown our champion at the University of Phoenix Stadium. Let's see if Georgia can finish what they started last year, or if South Alabama can shock the world as the Cinderella and take home the national championship. Georgia elects to defer. So the South Alabama Jaguars starting with the football. 3rd and 10. Brown goes short on the screen, and South Alabama gets nothing. Kean Monroe wrapped up for a gain of 3 by Grant Rambo, the sophomore linebacker. So Georgia gets the ball. Here's Clyde Williamson on 2nd and 5. Dances in the pocket. Goes up the middle. It's hauled in by Montrell Hughes. Breaking tackles. What a play by Hughes. Georgia is a senior-driven offense. Clyde Williamson's a senior. Quentin Spencer, Jaden Menendez. So they're really going to be relying on guys like Montrell Hughes and, of course, Patalomayo Malualu to step up next year. Williamson back up the middle for Montrell Hughes, who makes the play once again. Clyde Williamson famously played horribly last year in the national championship game against Minnesota. If not for that, he would have declared for the NFL draft. He would have been a high draft pick, but he really wanted to win his school a national championship. And so far on this first drive, they're looking the part. Montrell Hughes has caught all 4 of Clyde Williamson's passes so far. 1st and goal, Williamson goes short, and that's caught by David Owen for the first touchdown of the championship game. And so Georgia will start this one on top 7-0. Georgia and South Alabama both started their games with big leads. So we'll see what they can do here as it's Trey Williams for a gain of 27. There he is. We've been waiting for him to make a play in the college football playoff. He did nothing against Michigan, and South Alabama's going to need him to produce here against Georgia. 3rd and 2. Brown looks to throw it, and it is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Daniel Truchon. The Jaguars are going to go for the field goal. Interesting play call. This one from around 53 yards out. I've noticed these coaches are really confident with long field goals, and, well, this one backfired as the kick is no good for South Alabama. So Georgia's going to get the ball back. 3rd and 10. Williamson with a strike downfield, and it's hauled in by Jaden Menendez, who breaks the tackle, and he is off to the races for a touchdown. And those damn dogs are looking good early. They lead this game 14-0. South Alabama's got to make some plays if they want to get back in this game because we know Georgia's offense can turn it into a blowout. Deep shot downfield, hauled in by Trey Williams, who gets 42. Williams, 2 catches, 69 yards. Nice. Williams is not going to have an easy matchup with junior corner Shad Swisher on him. What a throw for Kedrick Brown, but it's incomplete. The receiver was not able to get either foot in bounds, although in real time I thought he did. I thought that was a touchdown. So there would be no review, surprisingly. I feel like the officials are kind of slighting South Alabama here. They'll have to kick the field goal. They're finally on the board as it's 14-3, but I feel like they could have gotten more on that possession. So Georgia's going to get it back, up by 11. So far, so good for the Georgia offense. Clyde Williamson looks really good so far today, throwing for 2 touchdowns. Why not add a third? This time it's Quentin Spencer who takes it the distance. In the first quarter, Clyde Williamson has 205 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. As we've seen in the Middle Tennessee State game, and now today, Georgia has so many guys who can win you games. Against Middle Tennessee State, it was Malalu. Today, it's Clyde Williamson, and the defense keeps making plays as Brown is sacked for a loss of about 10. Again, the big defensive tackle, Dieter Jacobs, continuing to put his name on the map as he makes the play. 3rd and 20, they run a screen. Lord knows why. Monroe loses 2. Guess who's there with the TFL? It's Dieter Jacobs once again. Through 1, this has been a dominant start for the Georgia Bulldogs. South Alabama right now looks like they're too big for the moment, and Georgia leads 21-3, and they have the chance to extend their lead as Williamson is brought down to the turf for a sack. The play is made by Tyreek Callahan, the star sophomore pass rusher who had a scoop and score in the game earlier today against Michigan. So Georgia's going to have to go for the field goal here as they wouldn't convert on 3rd down. I think this is the best thing that could have happened for Georgia, not scoring a touchdown on this drive as the kick is good. It would have been 28-3 had Georgia scored a touchdown. The last time a Georgia football team was up 28-3 in a championship game, well, we all know how that ended. Still, South Alabama has a lot of groundwork to do as Andre Sparks makes the play for the first down. We'll see if this is the drive where South Alabama's offense can really do, something. Brown on 3rd and 10 is nearly intercepted. In and out of the hands of Shad Swisher. He should have picked that off. South Alabama has to punt it, and Georgia can extend the lead even further. First and 10 at the 20 after a touchback. It's a handoff up the middle. Another big run by Patalomayo Maluwalu, who's been a little bit quieter today. He's only gotten the ball 4 times. I feel like Georgia should probably try to get into him more. 3rd and 15. Williamson with a strike downfield, and it is picked off. Great play by the South Alabama defense to get the ball back, as it is Eric Joseph with the interception. Joseph picked off Bartholomew Blunt in the semifinal game, and now he picks off Clyde Williamson in the championship game. So South Alabama's going to get it back, hoping to score their first touchdown of the game as Brown launches a strike caught by Chad Andrews, who makes the play. I think one of the main reasons why South Alabama's offense is struggling is because Georgia's winning the battle in the trenches. Kendrick Brown is being forced to make quick throws. He's not having time to make plays with his legs. The Georgia front unit, again, a very young group, is dominating. 3rd and goal. Brown does have some time, and he will throw it away in the back of the end zone. The pass rush kind of caught up to him late there. So again, South Alabama unable to score a touchdown. They'll have to add on 3 points. Kick is good. Still remains a 3-score game, though. Georgia definitely still in the driver's seat as they get it back. 3rd and 2. Maluwalu is smothered in the backfield. He gets maybe a yard or two, a little bit slow to get up. He'll be fine, thankfully, but that'll force a punt. South Alabama gets it back. They can cut the lead to 11 or 10 on this possession and put themselves back in the game with a couple minutes left in the first half. Good catch there by Trey Williams, who's already done a lot more today than he did against Michigan. 2nd and 10. Here is Brown under pressure, has an open man. It's Michael Evans who gets 16. Evans, on the other hand, has been a lot quieter today. And on that play, he actually hurt his shoulder, and he will not return to the game. So South Alabama is going to be without their number 2 receiver, which is a big deal. And that pass is intercepted. Daniel Truchon picks it off. So Truchon now is an interception in both games today, and Georgia's going to get the ball back. As we look at that one again, it was tipped in the air, and Truchon was able to scoop it up off the ground before it hit the turf. Excellent IQ by Truchon, who again is continuing to play himself in a first-round conversation with his performance in both playoff games. Clyde Williamson with a great throw there for Quentin Spencer. Spencer's had a much bigger game as well. He actually finished 2nd in the Fred Biletnikoff Award voting, only behind Trey Williams for South Alabama. There's a nice throw over to Quincy Pearson, and he will get around 20. So Pearson will be wrapped up inside the red zone. Timeout on the play by Georgia. 2nd and 11. Here's Patalomayo Maluwalu, stiff arms the defender, gets the first down. The Bulldogs are getting closer and closer to the end zone as they look to make it a 4-score game going into half. On 2nd and goal, Williamson connects short with Patalomayo Maluwalu. That's his 7th all-purpose touchdown of the college football playoff. Clyde Williamson today has thrown for 4 scores and has nearly 300 yards. I think it's safe to say he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. The Detroit Lions will be selecting number 1 this year, so hopefully they like their new quarterback. Deep shot downfield on the Hail Mary is intercepted. What was Kendrick Brown thinking there? He literally threw it to the Georgia player. I'm not even sure what he was trying to do. There was no South Alabama player there, and Robert Small was able to get the interception. So unlike the 2 semifinal games, this one looks like a blowout. 31-6, Georgia on top at halftime. And they start with the ball in the second half, and their offense is getting right back to work as Williamson connects with Quincy Pearson, who is wrapped up past the 30 for a gain of 41. Pearson's really putting a name for himself as the tight end today, having one hell of a performance for the Bulldogs. 1st and goal, pitch for Patalomayo Maluwalu, and he's going to lose yardage, wrapped up by Boogie Rollins. Shake down and Boogie. So now it's a 3rd and goal. Georgia looking to get back in the end zone as it's Maluwalu, and he is in. Another touchdown for Patalomayo Maluwalu, who now has 8 all-purpose touchdowns in the college football playoff, and it's now 38-6. Assuming Georgia holds on, who's going to win the playoff MVP, Maluwalu or Williamson? Well, it's certainly not going to be whoever covered Chad Andrews on this play because, well, the answer would be nobody. Andrews takes home a long touchdown pass, and South Alabama finally finds the end zone for the first time today. 38-13, Williamson incomplete. Pass broken up by Jonathan Henry. So that'll force a punt. South Alabama gets it back. They're again moving the ball down the field in the red zone. As on 2nd and 10. Brown alone in the backfield. He's going to look short, and it's caught for a first down by Cardell Simpson. Yes, the corner, Cardell Simpson. I guess South Alabama's thought process is any way you can get your best players on the field, keep doing it, I guess, as that one goes back to Cardell Simpson, who gains 8 more. I know he has good hands with, 20 career interceptions, but still, kind of odd. 3rd and 2. Brown keeps himself for the rushing touchdown of the read option. South Alabama with 2 consecutive touchdowns. Are they getting back in the game? As it's now 38-20. 2nd and 1. Clyde Williamson going right back to work. I mean, these are NFL caliber throws. Clyde Williamson is so precise in the pocket. He just has an it factor to him, which is why I think he's going to be a great QB in the NFL right off the bat. A nasty stiff arm by Patalobayo Maluwalu as he gets the first down there. And the Georgia offense, after a couple slow drives, are right back in business. 3rd and goal now for the Bulldogs. Can they get back in the end zone? Williamson under pressure. He goes with the screen for Maluwalu, and he's going to lose yardage. Big play by the South Alabama defense as they make the tackle for loss. That was Cardell Simpson making the play, doing everything on both sides of the ball today. So Georgia's going to kick the field goal, look to make it a 21-point game right at the end of the 3rd quarter as Williams splits the uprights. So Georgia leads by 21. South Alabama's actually going to run one more play here before the end of the 3rd quarter as Kendrick Brown looks to throw it under pressure, and he is sacked in the backfield again. I think that was Daniel Truchon who made the play. Yes, it was. Truchon has been Georgia's best defender throughout the college football playoff. He continues to be an animal. Through 3 quarters, the Bulldogs are 1 quarter away from avenging last year's national championship losses. They lead 41-20. 3rd and 9, it's a screen for Keon Monroe. He gets nothing. Wrapped up on the play by Dieter Jacobs, who has challenged Daniel Truchon as Georgia's best defender. The Bulldogs would chew some clock, march down the field as the backup running back, Keith Humphrey, is in for the score. And I think that's the dagger if we didn't already have a dagger. 48-20, now your score in favor of Georgia. South Alabama playing for pride really at this point is on 3rd and 2. Kendrick Brown keeps it on the option. Brown with a nice stiff arm gets the first down to the 15-yard line, wrapped up by Robert Small. 2nd and 7, Brown now alone in the backfield. He's going to look short. It's caught, and that one will go for a touchdown. It's Cardell Simpson in his final game as a South Alabama Jaguar. I like that they're giving him an opportunity to score here. Cardell Simpson is going to go down as currently the greatest South Alabama Jaguar ever. It's not just his production the last 2 years, but he is the leader for this team. He's their rock. He's their heartbeat. Without him, South Alabama does not make it to this game. So what a great gesture by the Jaguars to let him score that touchdown. Georgia's going to recover the onside kick as apparently the rest of the Georgia offense has -1 turnovers. The more you know. Clyde Williamson also only has 1. I don't know why it said he is 2. So Georgia's looking to chew some clock, and that they will do. Patalomayo Maluwalu is going to add a little extra there as he scores his 9th touchdown of the college football playoff. He has scored 9 times in 2 games against 2 of the best teams in the country. This kid is sensational. And that's how this game is coming to a close. The Georgia Bulldogs have won the 2022-23 National Championship here in our NCAA Next Up Series, 55-27. South Alabama as a team this year allowed, I think, like 160 points in the regular season. In the 2 college football playoff games, they allowed 49 against Michigan and won, and then 55 against the Georgia Bulldogs. And Georgia was just a better team from start to finish. South Alabama made it competitive late. But my God, is Clyde Williamson so good. I mean, he could have been the 2nd pick in the draft last year to the Lions, but he decided to return to school, win a national championship, and sure enough, he's going to be the #1 pick, ironically, to the Lions. So if he only stayed in school to escape being drafted by the Lions, first of all, I don't blame him. And then second of all, well, it sucks to suck because you're going to Detroit regardless, buddy. The Lions have had success in the past with Georgia quarterbacks wearing the number 9, just saying. Although we know Clyde Williamson was awesome through these 2 games, but I think the college football playoff MVP has to be Patalomayo Maluwalu. Wasn't as good today. He only had 146 rushing yards and 3 all-purpose touchdowns. Nothing crazy. Quincy Pearson and Quentin Spencer with each over 100 yards apiece. Montrell Hughes was really good on that first drive. Jaden Menendez made plays per usual. And then the Georgia defense I was really impressed with. They allowed some touchdowns later in the game towards the garbage time, but they were phenomenal. Dieter Jacobs and Daniel Truchon both played out of their minds in this ball game for the Georgia defense. And then on the other side, gutsy performance from Kendrick Brown. I wish they got their running backs more involved. I wish Trey Williams got more than 4 catches, but I do like that they used Cardell Simpson on offense for his final game. South Alabama's world-renowned defense just didn't live up to the hype in these 2 games, and the Georgia Bulldogs have done it. They have won our first national championship of the series. So that's going to wrap up the Season 1 of NCAA Next Up. This has been a really fun series so far. I'm excited to hop into the offseason, which is going to be in the next episode. We'll very briefly recap the season, and then we'll go over the coaching carousel. We'll briefly talk about recruiting, but not too long because most of the top recruits are going to be edited. We're going to talk about custom conferences. There will be some movers. And the part I'm most excited about, to find out which players are declaring early for the draft, because those players will be added into the draft class for our Tennessee Titans franchise on Madden 23. So that's going to wrap it up. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.